Chapter 11. Abuse. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Alright, the next day, Tuesday morning, October the 4th. After wishing my sister luck as she left to go see the school counselor, I spent the remainder of my morning going over Karasu's blueprints, studying them devotedly. Alright, I almost forgot that we decided not to go with our sister to get her to the school counselor, but honestly, I'm just more afraid of the consequences with Sai and Misa if I wouldn't, keep my promise to them. Despite making little sense to me, the blueprints allowed me to at least memorize the layout of the research facility, which in turn eased my anxiety about the imminent break-in. Even giving my minor role, and considering that I'd be working under Sai's tutelage, I still felt more anxious than I cared to admit. As the morning dragged on, however, my worries were overshadowed by an event of more immediate importance. Hello, Misa. Good morning, Misa. Aww, she smiles very brightly. Well, someone's in a good mood this morning. Yesterday morning, Misa seemed utterly different, or indifferent. It wasn't until later in the day that she started to open up a little. Going by her playful smile today, however, it seems yesterday's effort definitely had a positive effect. Even if it didn't show during training last night. Yeah, it definitely looked like she hated us during training. She's like, gotta kill this motherfucker. So, given any thought as to where you'd like to go today? She's thinking. Oh wow, she actually has an opinion. Fountain? I guess she wants to play in the fountain, enter a wet t-shirt contest, go to the beach. Wow. Okay, there's only one obvious choice here, right? I mean, she obviously does not mean enter a wet t-shirt contest. It's like, it's one of those things where a guy just jokingly mentions it and then like, well, and then the girl says like, what are you saying? That's not what I meant at all. And the guy just thinks like, dang it, it was worth a try. But playing the fountain, I don't know, she's not 4 years old, so the best one out of the three seems to go to the beach. You want to go see the water up close, right? Like at a swimming pool or the beach. Did you bring any swimming gear? Oh, come on. That question hardly warrants confusion. No, wait. Could it be that she only wants to see the water and not go swimming? You just want to walk along the water, but not actually enter it. Well, that's fine by me. What this girl finds enjoyable may be confusing, but at least she's easy to please. Once you figure it out though, that's probably the hardest part. You gotta figure out what she wants. Cause that girl ain't talking. Unfortunately, though semi-rural, in some areas of this massive city, Richmond is by no means close to the sea. There are several lakes just outside of its borders, and a few indoor pools within, but the actual ocean would take half a day to reach via public transport. So until my sister's next overnight field trip, whenever the hell that is, Misa will just have to settle for the next best thing. And what is the next best thing? Uh-oh. What a pain. Sir? Forget it. I'll fill you in later. You came here for a reason, right? Of course. Mindful of recent changes in staff, I've sent out feelers for potential new recruits. In particular, my focus has been on able-bodied men and women currently working for Adder and its direct competitors. The search is ongoing, but I have high expectations. I believe I should be able to process the first batch of insiders as early as next week. I see. You're already making the most of your free time, aren't you? Now that you have a babysitter. Oh my god, I actually didn't think about it that way, but we actually are sort of Misa's babysitter, right? Now, don't be like that. It's a good thing. She's happy, You're happy, and when you two are happy, so am I. I couldn't have hoped for a better arrangement. If you say so. I just need you to do one little thing for me. Yes? I want you to assign one of the younger recruits to tail your baby sister's sister. Or babysitter's sister. What? Why my sister? His sister? 24/7 surveillance. They are not to act without command or engage the target. The second anything of interest happens, they will report it directly to me. Do we have an understanding? Yes, sir. Why? Why does he want to know more about Sara? After a lengthy bus ride, Misa and I walked to a nearby lake. The bus itself was practically empty, no doubt because most people were in school or at work, and from the moment we set foot outside, it seemed as though we had the lake to ourselves. Maybe we should have stopped to buy some swimming gear after all. I can't say I'm a fan of the water, but it seems like a waste not to swim when we have the place to ourselves, but it's a lake, right? I mean, I've actually never swum in anything else, or swam. Is it swum or swam? I'm pretty sure it's swam, right? I don't know. I've never actually, taken a dive inside water that's not either the ocean on at the beach, or a swimming pool. So I actually wanted to say, isn't the lake like kind of dirty? But I've never swum or did that in a lake, so I don't know. Oh, Misa looks so happy. It almost makes me consider her human. Of course, Misa seems to be having fun regardless. Yesterday we met in the heart of the city, and Misa no doubt lives near our workplace, so it wouldn't surprise me if she rarely gets to see the water like this. Really, what does she do with the victims' bodies? Doesn't she drown them? After walking a while longer, Misa and I stopped near a riverbed. She looked out at the water, seemingly captivated by the unfamiliar sights. Never been this far away from the city before? I can't say I'm surprised. Sai doesn't exactly seem like the type to go out on an outing like this. Furthermore, we are pretty far away from the city, so it's not the kind of destination you accidentally stumble across. Well, make the most of it. It's a fairly long trip out here, so we can't come here too often. Misa ran off again, brushing off words as she skipped along the river. Looking at her now, it's hard to believe that I managed to wear Misa down during training last night. I may have more stamina than her, but Misa seems like she could run all day, and if we had that much time to kill, she probably would. Unfortunately, that isn't going to happen. While I can appreciate that we need to spend time together in order to work as a team, we can't put off work indefinitely. Since we spent yesterday and today playing around, we only have another 3 days to scout out and execute our targets. That may be plenty for someone with Misa's experience, but for a person like me, still new to the job, I'm anxious to just get started. Work before play, Misa. You may not want to abide by that mantra, but I do. Exhibiting energy I could only dream of possessing, Misa ran herself ragged alongside the lake until even the sun's rays appeared to falter. We wasted hour after hour, accomplishing nothing at all, as I simply watched Misa run and play. As the day dragged on, however, her energy eventually started to wane, signaling the end of our outing. Had your fill, Misa? Finally, I was beginning to think we'd be here all night. But now that she's gotten to play to her heart's content, Misa can't complain about finally getting to work. Great. In that case, are you ready to head back? We should still have time to at least scout out our target's residence, right? She doesn't want to work? Don't be like that. We have a job to do. Suddenly realizing that she had forgotten something important, Misa fished the brochure out of her jumper, practically forcing it into my hands. Circus this week only, tickets in limited supply. For 3 days only, come see the amazing... You want to go to the circus? It never ends, huh? Our time together for today hasn't even ended yet, and Misa's already planning our next outing? I mean, it's not that I mind. Hell, if anything, I'm glad. It means Misa is enjoying our time together. But aren't we ever going to get to work? Actually, this may just be the leverage I need. Oh yeah, you wanna go to the circus? You gotta do some work first. Alright, let's go to the circus. After work. Don't you dare pout. What would your father say if he knew you were trying to ditch work to have fun? We'll go tomorrow, okay? For today, we should at least scout the target out. That's more like it. I'd hope Misa would listen to reason. I can't say I'm terribly enthusiastic about such an outing, but if that's what it takes to solicit Misa's cooperation, then so be it. And on that note, at long last, it is time for work. With playtime over for the day, Misa and I stopped by my house, giving me time to grab our target's file before heading out to work. I'm gonna be like really surprised and kind of curious as to what would happen if Sara would happen to see us together with Misa. I don't know how she's gonna react, because she seemed like I remember last time in the shopping mall, like she seemed like a really sort of possessive, protective sister. It's not like she would immediately like and then try to scratch Misa's eyes out, but I feel like she might have a little bit of a hostile attitude towards her. Be like, who the hell are you and what do you do with my brother, huh? Our destination is a small city called Trenton, which rests near the outskirts of a cursed city of Richmond. It's a boring town which many seem to think is just far enough away to be safe from the influence of its next door neighbor. Considering the reason for our visit, however, perhaps that is merely wishful thinking. Oh, this is the train? Oh yeah. As we rode the train to our neighboring city, I pulled out our target's file. Unlike with my first paid kill, this time around, I want to be prepared. I'm not waiting in some disgusting apartment all day, bored out of my mind. It won't be sloppy. It won't be the sloppy, rushed job it was last time. I'll show that I've improved, and that I'm capable of improving further. With that thought in mind, I opened our target's file. Tony Roth, 43 years old, works 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays at a local warehouse. No work on weekends. He's a grunt turned desk jockey, chronic smoker, yet quite overweight. More to the point, it seems Mr. Roth has been held on multiple counts of domestic violence, but never charged. His wife refused to testify, even after he put her in the hospital for almost a month. Oh God, don't beat your wife or any girl whatsoever. Damn, dude. The police can't do much without her testimony or a witness, but she never pursues any kind of legal action against him. It's been a hopeless, no-win situation for everybody but Mr. Roth. Until now. Oh yeah, that's gonna change. I don't know who commissioned his murder, how much I'll be getting paid, or even if I'll make a clean break. All I know is that I'm going to enjoy this way more than I should. My first kill was an accident, and my first commissioned target was someone I didn't know the first thing about, even if they both deserved it. I didn't feel good about what I did. But this is different. A wife beater, lying his way out of trouble, scaring his wife into dropping all charges, abusing loopholes in the law, all just so he can go ahead and do the same damn thing over and over again. I can't wait. Oh yeah, let's kill that wife beater. I don't know why I'm actually excited about this, because we're killing someone, but yes, let's do it. While thinking violent thoughts, I headed towards Mr. Roth's house, strolling through one empty street at a time. Being the middle of the day, Mr. Roth was at work, as were most of his neighbors, leaving his house wide open and more accessible than usual. Upon arriving at Mr. Roth's house, however, breaking in was the last thing on my mind. This place is infinitely better than the city streets we patrolled just yesterday. The silence and fresh air of this underpopulated town is something I could easily get used to. Small town, low population, empty streets, and no industrial buildings. There might not be much work here for someone in my current situation, but I get the feeling that the trade-off would be worthwhile. So this is it, huh? Not bad. I didn't think the guy would be so well off. You don't think he's lucky to own a house like this? I'd kill to live here. We will now there's a thought. We're gonna kill Mr. Roth and claim this house as our own. I wonder how much a home like this would go for if people knew its occupants were slaughtered. Yeah, pretty cheap. 'Cause that's always, I don't know much about, what is it called actually, the people that sell houses. I've watched several sitcoms and TV series where like that occupation is being described and a character inside it actually has that occupation or job. But for some reason, a realtor, right? Damn, there it is. A realtor, I think. But yeah, usually when it comes to selling houses and people have been murdered in them, the price drops significantly. Misa glared at us. Crap. Misa can read thoughts? What is it with everyone and being a freaking psychic? What? No. Wait. I said that first part out loud, didn't I? What? You wouldn't like to live in a place like this? It wouldn't surprise me if she already did. Like, in a fancy ass house like that. Fresh air, quiet streets, few people. That's what I thought. But for the time being, let's work on emptying this house. Misa and I took a closer look at the house in question, starting with the pursuit of an entry point. Despite being a seemingly simple enough task, we found that the windows were all locked into place, and the house had no back door. Given my inability to pick locks, the veranda is probably the only feasible option here. Nobody would bother to lock the door leading to a second-story veranda, and the occupants certainly wouldn't see it coming. The question is, how would I even get up there? Oh, I brought my ladder with me. I could provide Misa with a boost, then get her to unlock the front door, but that would naturally depend on Misa's willingness to go along with such a plan. I could also try to jump on the veranda from the outside, similar to what I did in the K household, but that railing doesn't look sturdy enough to hold my body weight, and I didn't get away unscathed the last time I tried that. Maybe I should ask my partner what she thinks. Oh god. Because this is sort of a thing, right? We're the new guy, and I don't know how Misa thinks about us at all, but Sai and definitely Karasu expect a lot from us, right? Misa is sort of more of a, even despite the fact that she's young, she's more experienced in this as we are, right? So she is, to say, kind of a veteran compared to us at this. So, if we were, I don't know how she's gonna take it. Like, if we were to ask for her input, then she like, can't figure it out yourself, huh? Or she's gonna appreciate it, like, oh yeah, see, that's because sometimes it's the rookie's job to, get information out of a veteran to, that way, that's another way of learning, right? So, I actually think we're just gonna ask for Misa's input, but the problem is, like, how she communicate that through to us, unless it's just simply pointing, yeah, we're gonna go through that, I guess. But I'm gonna ask for Misa's input here. I think that's the wise thing to do. I don't suppose you brought a ladder with you, Misa? The way that I feel about her, right, is that she seems really playful and just, I guess herself when we are hanging out. when we're just going out on trips during the day. But she might be completely different at work, which is kind of what we're doing now, right? We are at work. I mean, just look at like the entire difference between her in the last videos, where the first time we went on the trip in a shopping mall and everything, I was like, yeah, we had a good time. And then during training, she was like, oh, I'm gonna chop your head off. She didn't say that in words, obviously, but you know, she seems really serious while doing her job, so I don't know. Now that we should need one, Misa's broken in far more grandiose places than this. Surely she has a way of getting in. What do you think? Do you see any way of getting inside? She points. The house next door? Misa pointed at the neighbor's roof. Then the targets. Oh my god, she wants to jump from roof to roof? You're insane! Misa may be professional, but I'm beginning to think she lacks common sense. This might be harder than I thought. Maybe this is why we only have one job for the week. I can see how scouting out a location like this might take a while. For the time being, I guess I'll just have to think it over and try to come up with a plan. Without deciding on the method of entry into our target's home, Misa and I left Trenton, returning to my house momentarily before I dropped her off. Misa chilled around my house for a while. I escorted her to the same point as yesterday, and we went our separate ways. Although we didn't get as much done as I'd hoped, Misa and I did make some work-related progress. We scouted out the target's home, looked for an entry point, and ultimately walked away with little having been achieved. Things may have gone differently with some insightful input from the young veteran by my side, but with Misa's reluctance to get to work, that didn't seem like it was going to happen. So, disappointing as it may be, we settled for superficial insight, something to be built upon later in the week. As we left our target's home, I found myself wondering about why Misa was so reluctant to get to work. Maybe she actually just doesn't want to do this type of work, or maybe she didn't know better before, right? Because she hasn't. It could be that it's not that she was being held prisoner by Sai, you know. I don't think it was that, but I feel like Sai was just sort of kind of perhaps a very overprotective dad, and he didn't let her do any of the usual things that teenagers do, right? Just go out, have fun, hang out with friends, that sort of stuff, you know. Explore the world, explore her surroundings. I feel like when we're showing her things like that, we are opening her eyes as well to what the real world is like, and maybe that's like decreasing her motivation for work, and she's thinking like, well, I actually enjoy the real world more than, you know, having to kill people and that sort of stuff. It could be that, or she just likes working alone, and when we're with her, she thinks like, this is not work, or I don't want to do work. I don't know. If Misa were an ordinary girl, it would be understandable. Rather, it would be strange if a regular teenage girl did get excited about killing a random stranger. But in Misa's case, the only likely conclusion I could reach was that she was just bored by it. Okay, that's actually a scary thought. It's scary to think of how many people you'd need to kill before becoming utterly bored and disinterested in the act. I did not consider that. Dang, that's a scary thought, honestly. I can understand not feeling bad or remorseful. Hell, I'm already at that stage, and I've barely even started. But to show such indifference to a lucrative, exciting job like this. Even if Misa doesn't need the money, this is the sort of job a normal person could only fantasize about, watching crime dramas on TV and wondering what it's really like. At 17 years of age, has that sense of wonder already worn off? Or did Misa never have it to begin with? Maybe she's just, desensitized with me that before you were sensitive to it, right? So maybe she just doesn't possess those certain feelings, or like, you know, guilt or those emotions, you know, that make you feel guilty or just bad about killing someone. Maybe she just doesn't possess those feelings or emotions or whatever at all. It could be that, those are the types of people that are generally crazy, insane serial killers. And to be fair, Misa and I think everyone else that works for Karasu could be considered that. But the difference is, like, we're doing it for our work, right? Crazy serial killers just do it for the fun of it and like, I like to kill people. They don't get paid for it. I suppose thinking about it won't do me any good, and I'm certainly not in a position to judge. After all, if Misa's indifference is scary, then what does that say about my enthusiasm? Ultimately, perhaps it was simply that Misa is a better person than I am. I'm home. Welcome back. What? Did she kiss us? I heard a smooching sound. Uttering only those 3 words, Sara walked up to my side and kissed me on the cheek. The joy on her face was evident, if not unexplained, and it seemed that Sara was in the mood to show it. Did something good happen while I was out with Misa? Was it like the therapist or something? Does that seem to be working or what? It's always heartwarming to see Sara like this, but considering her appointment with the school counselor, that is what it was, it is rather surprising. Still, it is a little eerie, not knowing what has her so giddy. What is it? Here. Another letter? It couldn't be the counselor again already, could it? Don't worry, it's good this time, I promise. As much as I'd like to take a word for it. Dear parents, it is with great pride that we blah 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 blah. Your younger daughter is... It's an invitation to an award ceremony at our school. You remember those, right? Fortunately I do. 3 hours of free time used to acknowledge the accomplishments of students. 1 a semester, each more boring than the last. It wouldn't be so bad if they stuck to handing out awards. The real problem is that they want to put on a show. Come on, it's not the freaking Oscars. Teachers assume that parents want to see other kids perform on stage, showcasing their talent for people who only attended to see their own kids. Absolutely awful performances that make even parents want to leave early. Whereas Sara's principal is the type who won't stop talking until someone stops her, and since our last name starts with a T, we're stuck there pretty much the whole time. Are you receiving an award? I am. And you want me to go? I do. Shit. Like I'm not already wasting enough of my free time. I want you to go. Sara reiterated her stance, aware of my hesitation. Well, the ceremony is at 5 p.m. on Friday, so I could easily make it back in time to attend the Friday night meeting. Unless Misa and I wind up performing our duty at last minute, I guess I'll have no legit reason to avoid the ceremony. But still, don't you think it'd be better if I stayed at home? I don't want to cause you any more trouble with your classmates or teachers. You'd rather I catch the train home alone at 8 p.m.? Oh, she has a point. In fact, knowing my former principal, 8 p.m. is the best case scenario. Even so, I don't really want to go. Okay. Last time we didn't really want to do what Sara wanted to do, right? Go to the school counselor. This time the school counselor thing was kind of sort of for both of us, but this is really something for Sara, right? And she actually seemed really excited about it. I mean, she even freaking kissed us on the cheek. Like, that's something she hasn't done before, at least not in a story so far. But the thing is, we didn't do what she wanted last time, so I feel like we should alternate a bit. And this time, this time it actually somewhat fits in our schedule. Like last time, it was a choice between either Misa or Sara, but now we can fit Sara in between everything. Like, sure, it'll be really busy and probably really tight when it comes to time management and everything, but it can work. So I think the right choice here is to just go anyway, because otherwise Sara be pissed if we don't, do something for her twice in a row. I guess there's no helping it. Fine, I'll go. You will? Of course. I love watching you kick your classmates' asses. Hee hee. Oh, that's right. I'd better go buy some clothes appropriate for such an event. It's just a school ceremony. And some new shoes. A tie. Oh, and not just for me. We'd better get going soon if we want to get back before it's dark. Oh God, what have I gotten myself into? Oh no, she wants to go on a shopping frenzy. Alright, 2 days later. Thursday night, October 6th. Since our trip to the circus yesterday, Misa has been filled with energy. Even more so than usual. It's a little bit of a sad thing that they skipped through it. I would have loved to see Misa's reaction to seeing like a lion or something jump through a hula hoop, She didn't let up on our way back to the meeting room when we met up this morning or when we went out earlier today. And given Sai's weary expression during last night's training, probably not at home either. I don't know why clowns and acrobats excite her so much, but thanks to them, Misa has been hyper ever since. I just feel like she's high on life, okay? She doesn't need drugs or anything to be excited. She's high on life. She's just like, I'm enjoying life, I'm experiencing things I never have experienced before and I'm loving it. McDonald's style, so yeah, I feel like that's what's been going and exciting her so much lately. Even if this is an inappropriate time to be focused on something as trivial as a trip to the circus, I'm happy to see that Misa is enjoying herself. Aww, it's like she tugs slowly on our sleeve like a little sister or something, like, or a little girl, like, Mister, hello? Yes? Oh my god, what? It seems like the clowns and acrobats has sort of rubbed off on her. Oh my god, isn't that like a really dangerous thing to do? But for some reason it actually looks really cool and badass. Without warning, Misa unveiled the blade from behind her back. For the nth time since we left the circus, Misa started balancing her sword on her nose. She kept her balance amazingly well, and she managed to keep the blade upright the entire time. Like, this has gotta be dangerous, right? One wrong step and the blade could like fall into her eye or her boob. It was an imitation of one of the tricks we saw yesterday, involving a performer and various hard-to-balance objects. Unlike the performer, however, Misa opted to use something a little sharper. Hee hee. Wow, she made another noise. Misa giggled to herself as she showed off, completely oblivious to the danger she was putting herself in. One wrong move, and she'd scar her cute face for life, or even lose an eye. Misa, come on, that's unbelievably dangerous. You don't want to hurt yourself, do you? Misa ignored my concern, instead focusing on her balance once more. I continued to worry that Misa might slip, but after watching her execute the trick without failure yet again, I realized that she wasn't going to screw up. This girl has balance and dexterity beyond my wildest dreams. She could easily become an acrobat or a gymnast if she wanted to. It's a shame she's stuck in the same violent line of work as a lowlife like me. While Misa was performing for a non-existent audience, we arrived at our target's house. Misa removed the blade from her face, and the two of us made our way to the side of the house. Now that we're here, it's time to get serious. No more distracting thoughts. No more worrying about irrelevant personal problems. This will be my second payday kill, and if I do it right, the second of many more to come. I can't afford to screw up now. Misa and I removed our civilian clothing, unveiling a training garbs underneath. While doing so, we stood beside Roth's house, surveying the place one last time before attempting to enter. Looking at it now with nighttime upon us, trying to jump onto the veranda feels even more daunting than before. It's still the most straightforward method, of course, but placing my life in the hands of a cracked railing I can barely even see seems like something only an idiot would do. Maybe I should... oh wow, 3 options, okay. Jump onto the railing anyway, give Misa a boost from the street below, stand below the veranda, and jump really, really high. Okay, the fact that they mentioned like really twice in that lower choice, the bottom choice, makes me feel that that's actually just not possible. But the thing about this, I think we were given, I mean, we're obviously given this assignment, you know, for both of us together. It's not like Misa's just coming along for the fun of it. Misa, we're definitely given this assignment together, so it doesn't really matter too much how we do it, as long as it's a team effort, right? I think. But the thing is, we're a new guy as well. Like, we have to try to sort of stand out, or, you know, take initiative. Oh god. Well, that's I feel like I'm not going for the bottom choice. So this is either one, the first one, jump onto the railing anyway. That's where we take initiative and think like, okay, we sort of have to stand out ourselves, you know, so we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna be the one taking most of the risk. And give a boost, Misa a boost on the street below. On the street below? What? Oh, from the street below. I'm stupid. Okay. This seems like the safer option though. But like, what do we want to do? Do we want to stand out ourselves, or I feel like people will, and Karasu won't be like, what, you didn't do that yourself, you let Misa do it, you're fired. That's not gonna happen, right? The only one that might be a little bit more pissed is Sai, but Sai knows Misa can handle herself, right? Misa is more experienced and capable of doing this job than I am, so even if we were to put her in a quote-unquote dangerous decision, Misa would find her way out of it, no problem. But it's kind of, it's sucky to just rely on your companion or teammate in this situation, just like, yeah, you do all the work and you find yourself. Well, if I were the thing that how I would approach it myself is like, I feel like I would need to stand out at this point, therefore I'm going to do it even if it's the more dangerous option. So screw it, I'm going to jump onto the railing. Well, it's a little late to be having second thoughts. It may not be the safest way to go, but it's still the only method I have any real faith in. After scaling the fence between the houses of Roth and his neighbor, I steadied myself and faced the railing. I estimated the strength needed to jump, crouched down, and prepared for the worst. Here goes nothing. Come on. Bam! Despite losing 10 years off my life, I made it! I pulled myself over the railing, as I had done when previously climbing the fire escape, and secured my footing on the veranda. Oh man, I hope I never have to do that again. Next time around, I'm just giving Misa a boost. Speaking of whom, I looked down at the railing, trying to spy my partner. Whoa! While I was searching for her down below, Misa looked over my shoulder, wondering what I was looking at. Holy crap! How did she do that? I didn't hear a sound when Misa jumped up here. Who's out there? Shit! He's here! Where the hell did Misa... Yeah, you'd better run. Damn kids, it's too late for this shit. Misa and I hid just in time, narrowly avoiding Mr. Roth's gaze. He opened the veranda door the second I scurried onto the ledge above his garage, automatically assuming that the noise came from the street below. As if congratulating herself or himself for having scared away the assumed kids below, Mr. Roth took the opportunity to light a cigarette and graze the empty streets with his visage. Phew, that was close. It would have been nice if Misa saw fit to warn me, but at least we both made it in time. Now we just need to wait until the time is right and make our move. As hesitant as I was to relive that particular aspect of my first paid kill, waiting seemed like the safest course of action. Boring though it may be, If waiting patiently meant cleanly executing my second target, then I'd happily do so. Surely, Roth won't be out here for that long. I just have to wait him out. And... As Mr. Roth continued puffing away, the smoke from his cigarette inevitably wafted towards Misa and I. Misa was unfortunate enough to inhale a cloud of his second-hand smoke, and she lacked the foresight to cover her mouth and nostrils. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, oh my god. Cover Misa's mouth or strike now. Oh, fuck. I actually like these. Like, you actually have a lot of options when it comes to, like, how you want to execute and kill your target, right? We can actually strike right now or wait for an opportunity later on. Oh my god. The thing is, what is covering Misa's mouth gonna do? If we cover her mouth, she's not gonna cough anymore. But he already heard the coughs from before, and he seems to be looking backwards. So, oh god, I feel like during our first paid kill, we were actually quite patient, right? I think we were very patient, and it ultimately paid off. Now, is patience twice in a row, is it gonna pay off? Like, sometimes that's just not the case, right? It's on a case-by-case notice. So, but if we were to strike now, that means we're going to be fighting on top of the veranda, which we thought was kind of, iffy and not as strong before. Because we were actually thinking it would collapse when we jumped on there, which was not the case. But if we had those thoughts before, thinking that it was kind of unstable, if we were to strike here now and have some sort of scuffle on top of it, it's definitely gonna break. So I'm going to be cautious once again. Like, sure, he still had heard the noise, but might just think again, like, oh, it's those damn kids again. So we're gonna cover Misa's mouth. It really is too late for this shit. I should just go to bed. Alright. Sorry about that, but you didn't give me much of a choice. Anyway, let's follow him in. We've come too far to give up now. Mr. Roth left the veranda, making his way through the darkness, and presumably towards his bedroom. I silently opened the sliding door after him, entering as quickly and quietly as I could without losing sight of our targets. We soon caught up to Roth, no longer as cautious or patient as before. We waited long enough and already put ourselves at risk more than necessary. It's time. Signaling for Misa to give me some room, I removed my knife from its sheath, holding it close by my side as I stalked my prey. I followed Roth past the staircase and towards his bedroom, but just as I thought he was finally going to rest, he turned once more. Before turning in for the night, Mr. Roth entered the bathroom. In doing so, he left the bathroom door wide open, confident in the fact that he was alone. But as Roth unzipped his pants, I proved him horribly wrong. Oh, Chuck! I closed the distance between us in an instant, using one hand to cover Roth's mouth, as I used the other to embed my knife in his chest. Mr. Roth reacted immediately, but his stifled screams served no purpose. Be it the shock of what was happening, or the precedence of the other task at hand, it took precious seconds for Roth to even think about raising his hands in self-defense, let alone attempt to fight off his attacker. By the time he began to struggle in earnest, my knife had already done its damage, protruding through his chest. I made a clean cut and continued to sever every organ, vein, muscle, every piece of cartilage I could find. With his show of resistance having begun far too late, Roth's energy left his body alongside the blood he so desperately needed. His pathetic flailing ceased, his body weight shifted, and as I finally let go, he immediately dropped to the floor. Bam! And that's how you do it. Misa waited for me just outside of the bathroom, close enough that she could assist if necessary, but far enough away that she wouldn't get in the way. Fortunately, the kill was quick and easy, and her assistance was not needed. I gave Misa a brief smile as I confirmed that our job was complete, and without further delay, we at last called it a night.